subject first. Yes.
You've said that there are legislative solutions. Obviously, you said that the administration should tap into the contingency fund, but come the weekend, if SNAP does run out, tens of millions of Americans will go hungry. Are you getting a sense from your Democratic colleagues that the pain of that and other aspects of the shutdown might outweigh this fight?
My Democratic colleagues are united in the fact that Trump and the administration can do this, not this weekend, tomorrow, today, right away. Every Democrat is a sponsor of Lujan's bill, and that's how we feel. Yes.
Irrespective of the dispute on whether USDA contingency funds can be used for SNAP.
It is not, wait a minute, excuse me. It is not a dispute. It is fact they can use it, and the Republicans say it.
Okay, but there's, only 5 or 6 billion, and it's not cost $8 billion monthly just to administer. I mean, if anything, it would only last.
It does not cost $5 or $6 billion to administer. There's enough money to start feeding people right away. $6 billion's a lot of money, and they're using it for other things. $20 billion for Argentina, hundreds of millions for Kristi Noem's plane. Who are we kidding here? Yes.
What happens once it runs out? If it only lasts 2-3 weeks due to the tax code, then?
The bottom line is they can fund it just as in 2019, just as in other shutdowns, for a long period of time.
And they also, if the contingency fund, which is $6 billion, which gets you nearly a month, 3 weeks, runs out, then they can pass Senator Lujan or Senator Hawley's bill, both of which we support. We know that there'll be 60 votes for that. Why aren't they calling it up? They're not calling it up because the House isn't here to pass it. That's the way it works. The House would have to come here. They probably would have to vote on the Epstein files, but they're choosing to let kids go hungry instead of having to vote on the Epstein files. There's no doubt about it.
We all know that this is all a farce. And the reason that it's a farce is because if they really wanted to, place a lot of emphasis on these files, then they would have took it up and released it during Biden's term when they was really trying to tear Trump down. But here's the truth, is that they're trying to divert away from actually making sure that they fund the government because they're looking for a quick win. They know that Trump has just been getting victory after victory after victory, especially even when you consider all of the lawsuits that they've been filing in different states to try to prevent him from doing things like making cities safer, doing Department of Government efficiencies, layoffs, and then now we have, them trying to get some level of kickback. And I don't know if it's because he's continuing to deport illegal migrants or whatever. But this whole healthcare thing is to subsidize different states because they are in a government crisis. For example, California, is absolutely in shambles, and their budget crisis is insane. And so they are basically subsidized by the federal government through illegal migrants continuing to get free health care for when they go to the doctors and when they go to the hospitals and when they get these visits. And so we know that this health care bill, which is basically what Democrats are trying to push through, I call it Obamacare. You may call it the Affordable Care Act. I call it Obamacare. But basically, this thing has been a disaster since it's been implemented. Our healthcare costs are going up. The cost across the board has gone up. All through Biden's administration, they've been trying to subsidize the federal government or subsidize you guys by giving you federal government jobs and handouts. And now you have up to 42 million people about to go hungry. And never have they ever done this. Never have they ever truly shut down the government because of something like this. What they're supposed to do, which is what Republicans did during Biden's term, is they keep the government open while continuing to debate and negotiate on how they can get some level of bipartisan agreement on how to permanently fund the government going forward. But it's no reason. They're basically using the American people as a pawn. And as a result, they can get this thing open and they want to continue to say, well, they're not there. Trump already said it. All of the Republicans said it. Listen, we're not even going to have this conversation until you have the government open. And so this isn't a negotiation. This is a continuation of what is already in place so that we can keep the government open. This isn't even rocket science at this point. And Schumer is a shill because Schumer is mad because Trump got the best of him before. And so now he's trying to get back too. We need to get all of these geezers out of office, bro.
Been out for 6 weeks on vacation.
Just think, if they have all this money for Argentina and all,
we gotta stop paying Congress. honestly. We have to stop paying Congress. How is Congress getting a paycheck, but several other people aren't able to get a paycheck because Congress continues to keep the government closed?
All this money for other things, they have enough money to keep funding SNAP, and they know it. And I just want to say what Lujan said. Johnson just lies. He lied about on immigration, on the undocumented. He's lying about this. He just outright lies, plain and simple. It is not illegal, and his own president has done it. Yes.
Are talks ticking up as Boone indicated? Is there any conversation, any negotiation whatsoever happening behind the scenes? And if so, can you enlighten us on
Yeah, there are occasional talks between Democrats and Republicans on this issue, but our Republican colleagues don't seem to be offering anything different than what their leadership
Nothing
has
to
had
offer.
so far.
Fund the government.
We hope that will change. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Understanding what you're saying about Republicans' options here for SNAP.
Democrats is going down, bro.
Are you saying Democrats have no responsibility for the fact that
We are saying the Republicans can fund it now, and they're using these people as hostages. Plain and simple. Next. That's the answer. The answer is they can fund it right now. Okay? Right now.
Leader Schumer, on SNAP and on healthcare broadly.
And by the way, we don't want to pit health care and food. They do. We think you can have both. Yes.
On SNAP and on the ACA, Leader Thune said yesterday he had just spoken to President Trump and that the president would be willing to sit down with you next week to talk about ACA subsidies. Is that an acceptable offer for you? If the government opens, by the way, is that an acceptable offer?
We've always said, they always say, do it later. Do it later. Later, to quote Martin Luther King Jr. in his letter from the Birmingham jail, means never. They have had since March to do this. They voted 3 times against it. So this idea, do it later, been there, done that. We have to do it now. The window opens.
Did he just quote
Thank
Martin
you,
Luther King?
everybody. On this subject,
Did he seriously just quote Martin Luther King in order to justify his argument? How disrespectful. How disrespectful of Chuck to invoke the great Dr. King and justifying letting people go hungry and playing right into Republicans' hands by not opening the federal government and ensuring that people get their little SNAP benefits, that you get your EBT, that you get your food stamp, you get your Section 8. That's another thing that people ain't talking about. And I'll tell you why they're not talking about it, because they don't expect the landlords that give Section 8 housing to suffer. Business owners, people that generate revenue, who they feel like is at the top. The landlords, they not getting no help. And so what I've also heard, and I'll deep dive into this in another video, is that you have to use your food stamp benefits before the 1st. So you got one more day as of the recording of this video, today and tomorrow. And then on November 1st, you're going to have to figure it out. Government can't be your daddy no more. They can't hold you hostage no more. You're going to have to make a decision on how you can do things differently. And if you can be successful on your own, you're going to have to stand on your own 2 feet. For people that are disabled and veterans, I feel you. That is a completely different conversation. But for able-bodied people and human beings, you're going to have to grind. You're going to have to get it, because your federal government and your Congress members are still getting their paychecks, but you definitely don't. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm out at you guys later. Peace.